Hi there, another in our series reviewing classic knife designs. Now, if the name Rex Applegate is mentioned in conjunction with knives, it's usually to do with the Applegate-Fairbairn knife. Now, according to Colonel Applegate, this knife was designed as a collaboration between him and William Fairbairn when they were both instructing at the OSS training schools. And the idea was to produce an improved model to the original Fairbairn-Sykes dagger. And this is actually disputed by William Cassidy, who's got really good inside knowledge of the whole situation. And one of the things he points out is that when Fairbairn did do a design after the Fairbairn-Sykes, while at OSS it was with Millerson, and it was a radically different design to both the Fairbairn-Sykes and to what has become the Applegate-Fairbairn. So it wasn't the way his mind was going. And the other thing was, this knife didn't emerge until 1980. And it's widely supposed that it was purely an effort to link the name of Fairbairn, which was already illustrious, with the Fairbairn-Sykes, globally known, renowned as the Commando dagger, with his own name, and then market a successful knife design. Having said that, the actual knife that emerged in 1980 was a really good design. Originally produced by Yancey, the blade is more substantial than the Fairbairn-Sykes. It's less fragile at the tip, and the handle is radically different. Whereas the original Fairbairn-Sykes has a cylindrical handle, which is very, very difficult to index in the hand and can only really be used with one grip, the foil grip, which to me is not a particularly useful grip. The Applegate-Fairbairn has flattened planes which do allow an index, fit the hand very, very well, can be used for a variety of grips, more practical grips, just locking down, and also is grooved. And in the original, the Yancey version, it was made out of Lexan, man-made material, and other materials such as various forms of micarta have been used. And whereas the Fairbairn-Sykes is metal and can be cold to the touch in the winter, the man-made materials are much more forgiving. One of the things that the Yancey model had was an internal lead weight, which could be adjusted on a sliding scale to alter the balance of the knife to the individual user's preference. So it was quite an interesting idea. It was then manufactured by various companies and individuals: Blackjack Knives, Almar, and in more recent years by Birka, the German company. And they also produce versions, boot knife version, for example, and also a folder. However, if we do go back to the OSS days, Colonel Applegate did come up with an improved version of the Fairbairn, and it's nothing like the subsequent Applegate-Fairbairn. It's a knife which you can absolutely see its design origins. And I saw, there was one picture of it which I saw once, and it intrigued me. And I was always interested in it. And then a few years ago, Berker's American branch, Berker USA, offered a commemorative version of it, and I was able to get hold of one, and this is it. Comes in this nice box, and we have the knife in its sheath, and I'll talk about it in some detail, but basically that's it. And you can quickly see that it is a beefed up Fairbairn knife. And if we look at my original wartime Fairbairn Far East model and compare the two, and if we superimpose, you can see how much bigger the Applegate is. Okay, so the commemorative model was very, very kindly given to me by Terry Trahan, who's unfortunately passed away, and he's sorely missed. He's a really great guy. He designed a military utility folding knife for Berker USA, and he sent me one, and I reviewed it on this channel. It's a really good piece of kit. And in conversation with him, and he was a member of the forum, I did mention the Applegate, and I had heard that they were doing this commemorative, and he very, very kindly sent me this one, and I've treasured it ever since. So the design history comes from really when Applegate had moved on from the OSS, and he was the chief instructor of the MITC, Military Intelligence Training Center, which heavily featured close quarter combat with firearms, edge weapons, impact weapons, and unarmed. And one of the things they did was have a collection of weapons for the students to have a look at and to be aware of what weapons are out there, what they might be able to get their hands on, what the enemy might be using, and so on. Many training centres have this kind of thing, but this really was probably one of the first. And at the same time, the knife manufacturing company Randall, which is situated in Orlando, were producing fighting knives, the Randall number 1, Randall number 2, excellent fighting knives for US servicemen. And Bo Randall wanted to have some sort of instruction manual for them, and he turned to Colonel Applegate, who extracted from his lesson plan on knife fighting the relevant parts, and these were produced in a booklet which was given, included with every fighting knife sold by Randall. And this went on until the 1960s, when there were other knife fighting books more widely available, and he stopped doing it. And in gratitude for helping him with this manual, Bo Randall agreed to make a knife based on the Colonel's design, and it was the knife I saw in that picture, the Applegate Stiletto, as it was known. Some were made, and the idea was to sell them at MITC for the trainees, but they turned out to be a failure as a sales item, probably because guys who are going through military training really expect to be issued with the kit, and there were knives available. There were issue knives available, so they probably didn't see the reason to purchase probably what was an expensive bit of kit. So they were sort of sold to various people, and really they become a tremendous rare collector's item. And I've only ever seen one picture of a remaining one. One of the features of it is this pommel sort of button, which many fighting knives have some sort of strike pommel, most notably the V42, which is a spike and digs into your ribs when it's in the sheath, and can be quite injurious to the user. So if you're going to have a pommel, which seems to be a popular addition, it's better to have something like this. So that was a good design. This knife fits the hand very well. You can see the leather handle is very much a Randall influence. He does it on his number 1, number 2, and some of the other knives he produced. And I've always liked that. I've always liked the leather washer handles. I liked it on the K-bar and the Camelus pilot's knife. And it kind of begs the question, why didn't Applegate just issue or buy one of the Randall fighting knives? Because basically this kind of is a Randall 2 in all but name. But anyway, that's the history. So the 1944 model was resurrected, as I mentioned, by Berker, and the blade has a very, very nice inscription, which you can see, which commemorates the OSS and has the OSS wings on it. So all in all, it's a very, very interesting piece of history, piece of knife design history. And if you want to own a piece of history, then by all means go for one of these. If you want a more practical design, which you can use for numerous tasks, including fighting, then it would be better, you'd be better served with the Berker Applegate-Fairbairn. So that's really the history of Applegate and his knives.